Hi, everybody. Sorry to be so late, but things happen sometimes. And I don't know about you, but my hubby can need a lot of help sometimes. So today was one of those days, and it got a little bit touch and go. Now, no worries, everything's fine, but he decided to take out the air conditioner unit that we have in my office, so obviously I had to help him with that, which meant I couldn't do the crafting I wanted to do. Then, what else did he do? Then there was something else that he wanted me to help him with, so I had to help him with that. Then he opens the back door and says, "Honey, quick, I need you." And he starts pulling up the back of his shirt. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he says, "I was fixing the bees and a bee stung me on the back." So I had to, look at it to see, put some lavender on him, yada, yada. Well, unbeknownst to us, there was a bee still in his shirt. Luckily, he was in the garage. The bee comes flying out, and I shut the door as I'm saying, "There's a bee." So he's swatting and getting rid of the bee. He knocks on the door, opens it up. Okay, it's gone. I'm like, okay, fine. So he comes in the back door, shuts the door, takes his shirt off. I find the spot. It's fine. There's no stinger or anything. Put a little lavender on it. And then I hear bzzz, and I'm like, "Oh no, there's another one, and now it's in the house." So I go running from my office and told him, "Take care of it." Oops, sorry. So he's trying to kill this bee, so, can't exactly craft when you hear this swat, swat, swat. And evidently the one beehive we have, the one out of the two, they're very touchy. They don't like to be disturbed at all. And all he was doing was putting in a little adapter so that way the hole wouldn't be too big so other insects couldn't get them this winter. Kind of, helps their hive stay warmer, yada, yada. I know too much about bees now. So anyway, so I got him finally out the door so I could play a little bit and come to you now. So better late than never, I guess. So what are we talking about? We are talking about the Advent calendar. Thank you for shopping with me, as always. And I wrote down where to go. So if you go to YouTube, okay, and you put in the search engine, Stampin' Up, 12 days of Advent calendar videos, then the 12 days will come up, okay? And there's 12 days of them opening up and making something with the project that they opened up, or with nearly, maybe adding a couple things. And it's very helpful, but it did take me a while. I had to kind of go back and forth, re-watching the same video, and it didn't tell you what was coming on the video, so I had to figure out all 12 videos, which ones they were, which craft item they made that day. So hence that took a little bit of time to do. But I did manage in all of that, bees and everything, to make 4 cards today to show you. And I think I'm going to have to do one more video this coming week to get through all of the stuff in the Advent calendar that you get. And I probably will still have stuff left over. So today we are going to be, I told you that. So on the consultant side of the website, okay, I can go in and print off what the items that they made for each day was. But as you will see, it's a very small picture. Doesn't really give you instructions on what they did, just what they used. That's why the video is so important if you want to see the little things that you might not see in this little tiny picture. So I went back and figured out what video each one was. This is the one I showed you yesterday, okay? The colors we're using today are Flirty Flamingo, Old Olive, and Crushed Curry, okay? We will be using some blending brushes, or I will be anyway. We'll be using the stencils today, and the first card I wanted to show you is on video number 4, And they're short videos, so they're very doable. And about, oh, I don't know, halfway through they start showing you. They're, like I said, they're really short videos. Anyway, start watching. Here's number 1, or this is actually video number 4, and I made the card pretty much just as it is in the picture, which you can't see very good. Okay, so I did some tone on tone. This is Misty Moonlight, I believe. At least it does tell you that. Yeah, Misty Moonlight cardstock with Misty Moonlight ink. This is one of those tags that was like this, that was white. I embossed the words on, and then I sponged on the tag. I embossed the middle of the butterflies and just stamped first and second generation, a little bit of the bling, and there you go. Okay, that's card from video number 4. All right, the next one I want to show you, and which we will be doing that, is number 7. It's video number 7, and they made a cute little bag, but I took these pieces and turned it into a scrapbook, a card instead. So here is the card I made, and there is some differences. Okay, so I added one more gold butterfly. I think these two were pink on the original one. I added this background, which is from that 6x6 sample that you got. Here's the full piece of it so you can see what it is. It's really pretty. It's the basic beige color and just this leaf pattern. But you don't see much of it here. Tried to show as much as I could. A little bit of gold behind. And this is from one of the tags. This is from the Black and White Christmas, the little twine. These are from the kit, and then I made these and punched these out. So I wanted to show you how I did that with the stencils. Okay, let me sit down. And this is what I did. I made my own DSP, and then I strategically cut out where I liked it. So it had, you know, on this, you can see, so there wasn't a lot of blank spots on it. Okay, if that makes sense. So let's show you how I did this. And I apologize now if the yellow doesn't work because my brush, I decided to clean it. I'm trying to dry it here. I decided to clean it before I made my video, and I should have not done that. I think I got most of the moisture out. So it might look a little bit different, a dry one from a wet one, but you know, what are we gonna do? All right. So, and I wanted to show you on here, let me see if this is the same. All right. So, don't mind my scratch paper. It's just what I'm using. So these stencils all come with numbers on them. Hopefully you can see that. There's a little notch in all of them, and there's numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So, there's a couple different ways you can use these, but since my paper wasn't bigger than this square here, which these are about 4 by 4 squares, I made a little template. If you can notice on here, I've got a little corner there. And then I've got the straight line with the V and a straight line past it. Well, the straight line and the V, hopefully you can see this, is where the stencil goes. And the little corners was where my piece of paper went. Oh, and actually, I'm not going to show you that yet. That's not, okay. We are going to use this, but I'm going to show you something else. So my paper was this big, right? Actually, it was this one right here. We'll do the back. And basically, I just made my own pattern with what was on the stencil. Okay? So you can see, there's my corners. And I just lined up number 1, number 2, and kept going. So I will show you on this side a little bit. So I just stuck that there. I got my number 1. I put it down. You can put a little bit of removable if you need to. So I put that down like so. Okay, I'm gonna sit down again. Forgot there was 2 different ways that I did this. There's so many different ways that you can do stuff. Just start playing. So I'm inking up my flamingo, and I'm gonna put a little dot of something. Let me see, what have I got? I need a little, where did it go? Adhesive. I'm gonna put just a little bit of adhesive there. I'm gonna touch it a little bit, get my oil on it, so that way it doesn't stick too much. All right, go back to this one, and I just hold this one, okay? Ink it up, dab it off. I'm starting in the center and going lighter as I went out. And I just went over all these little stencils with a light touch, okay? Because I'm not changing ink color, I'm just gonna do a light version and a darker version. So that's number 1. To wash these off, I just take my little, the best way is to rinse them underwater. If they've got little jagged bits, I just lay it on there and kind of sponge it off. You don't want to rub too much, because if it's got a bunch of little delicate areas, then you're going to take those, you know, you're going to start bending it, if you will. And we don't want to do that. Okay. I forgot to make sure that I was on video. So that's our first layer, and I know it doesn't look like much right now, but it will. Give me a second. Good gravy. Why aren't I live? I am live, aren't I? Yes. It says I'm live, but it doesn't seem to be counting. Am I live? Somebody out there? And I'm not finding it, so maybe I'm not live. Let's see. Sorry, bear with me. Let's refresh my page. Oh my goodness, it rained the other night like nothing. It was just crazy. The downpour was so big. I was quite a ways from the window, but I could see the rain coming straight down. It just looked like it was huge raindrops. Okay, there we are. So I am live. Sorry about the delay. Okay. So we've got number 1 on there and done. Now we're going to go to number 2, which is still some more of the flowers. And we're going to set that one down, just like we did the other one. Oh, now I've got volume. Okay. Wow, it's been quite the day, let me tell you. All right, so now I inked it up, but I'm not tapping it off because I want a little stronger color on these. And you can always start lightly with your pressure and then add more. Get those good and dark so you can see them. Okay, so that's number 2. That just gives you, you know, another layer of color. Again, I'm just going to take my favorite little squishy and wipe that off. Okay, now we're going to go to number 3, and I think we're changing color. Yes. So this is number 3, and this is our leaves. So I'm going to take this one away and open up the old olive. Okay, and I do have another sponge for that. All right, so we'll just make sure we're lined up good. And again, this is going to be our light layer of color, like so. All right, again, we're going to wipe that off. Best way is take it to the sink. So this one does have, see right there, that could get smushed and bent. So I'm going to make sure that I'm just patting it off to get the green off. And if I have to, I'll run into the sink later. All right, that's pretty good. Get rid of that. And on to our last one, number 4. So now is when I want to make it a little bit darker. And I want to avoid these 4 little flower centers, if you will. Okay. And so I'm just going to do the top part of my sponge. And this is the darker. So I'm just going to kind of strategically go in there. And then strategically go around this little flower petal. And you just work your ink back and forth. Okay, so there we go. So now I'm going to put that old olive color away and get out our crushed curry. And I'm just going to wash it off one time. So I'm just going to leave that there and hope for the best. You can wash it off if you want. Okay, this is pretty dry. All right, so then I'm just going to tap this cute little brush that has an angle, get some ink on there, and just stipple, kind of dab it like that to get that color for that centers of the flower. And then you can make it as dark or as light as you want. Close that up. And again, we will wash this off gently. I think there's not too much on here that's going to come up. So watch your stencils, you know. If there's little pieces that could bend, then you want to be gentle with your stencils, and they'll last a long time. They are really thick, but you know, if you've got an opening that's just going to bend on you and you're not careful, then your stencils aren't going to last very long. There we go. All cleaned up. All right. And so that's what you get. And you could even do that like several times, you know, on a bigger piece of paper. Get rid of this. I think I need it. Yeah, maybe I do. So you could, you know, do a whole panel like this, if you could imagine, you know, repeating. And you could even do it this way and then turn it this way if you wanted to kind of get a little bit more of a random-ish thing. All right, so another way to do it, we're going to go back to stencil 1. If I can pick it up. Okay. And I've got my paper. Let's go back into our... It's basically going to be similar to the stencil, but we're just going to have control over which flowers we put where. Okay? So I'm going to take my Fleur de Flamingo, and I'm going to start off of the page, which means now we have to make sure that you're not going against this edge, which, you know what, I wonder if this would be better. Let's try this. Okay, so see, we have more room here to work with. So again, light, a little bit heavier in the center, and then light. Now, we start with the biggest one and we work our way down, but you need to remember that you need to put some leaves in and some other flowers in. So you could just do the kind of plan random, where this is number 1, we're going to make 2, and then we're going to make a triangle, number 3. And you can turn your stencil. So I'm going to turn the stencil just a little bit. There's number 2. So we got 1, 2, and you can see this one's a lot lighter than that one, and that's good. It'll give you a nice, pretty one. So this one's off, this one's on. 1, 2, 3. Can be a little off, a little on, whatever you want to do. Again, I'm going darker. I'm kind of holding it to where I'm only hitting a little bit, and then when I want the lighter, I can just gently swirl it around. So 1, 2, 3. So you just kind of repeat that, but you want to make sure that I'll do a couple more. And you don't want them the same distance apart. You want to kind of keep turning your stencil and having different lengths. And in other words, you don't want to start lining up a pattern that you then go off of, and then it'll look kind of funky. If you're cutting it out, it doesn't really matter. But if you're not, if you're making like a 12 by 12 page, if you start random where it's different lengths and not all the same, then it'll be much easier and much prettier. Okay, so we did 1, 2, and 3. And then we did 1, 2, and 3 would probably be off over there, but we don't want to set that up. So what I'm going to do is put number 3. It doesn't hurt to turn your paper. Again, I'm protecting that I'm not getting a harsh angle. Let me show you. A harsh angle by going over too far. So I'm just turning that to where I have more surface to work with. And I'm doing that one really light. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to switch to another color. We're going to go to the green. Actually, I'm going to need this one again, so I'm going to leave it open. I'm going to live dangerously, everybody. All right, green. And has that ever happened to you? You know, today has just been one of those days. I'm glad I didn't leave the house. All right. I'm going to set that aside. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. Okay, so this one is going to be using the stencil and not using all of the stencil. We're going to also be stamping a little bit. All right, so now I've got my green layers, and I think I'm going to try this other green layer. So I want to use this one. And luckily you can see right where you're going. Again, I put that sharp angle off to the side, and I'm just going to do a little bit of light and dark. Isn't that pretty? Okay, let's come down here and do another one. Oop, and see, I didn't tap it off. And that's what happens. So then you go a little bit more because it's a little darker. Let's see, what else do I want to do? So it doesn't hurt to turn your paper around as much as you want. I'm going to put it this way. But I'm just randomly I'm not putting it on the same spot on every flower. Okay, that's the point that I want to get across to you. All right, there we go. And we will do one more on this flower here. Let's see, where do I want this? Kind of want it like that. Okay. All right, so that's that one. And I'll have to wash this off in a second. Let's set it over there. All right, and then what else do I want to do? So that's fairly good. Let's see. This actually, so this one actually has some stems on it. I want to use that stem, I think. Let's see, what would that look like? That wouldn't be too bad. And that's where those other ones come in. Let's see. Okay, so we're just going to lightly do those on there to see what it looks like. And I'm going to go back to that one that I previously had, because these are supposed to line up with that. And I'm going to do it a little bit darker. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I should have done it the other way. Yep, of course. I wasn't looking at my numbers. 3 and 4. Oh, that's kind of pretty though. Okay. So let's see. So what you want to do if you're going to use this is put your stem, put your stem on first. I'm going to make sure I'm not doing it the same way, and leave room for some other things. That's going to be a little bit crowded. So that's going to overlap some flowers. I think I'll just put one here. Okay. I'm just going to overlap a little bit. That's okay. So this one, I think I want to go dark. Hopefully that wasn't too dark. And then we'll go back to this one. And we just line up the leaves. And now we want to go light. Okay. There we go. So there's a couple different ways to do it. Kind of like this one a little bit better. But I think I'll darken this one up just so it matches. And it's your thing, so you do you. Which is nice because you don't have to use it the way that it's supposed to be. You can do your own thing. Just trying to find where the light color was. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, darker. Gotta tell myself what I'm doing. And watch this edge because we don't want to get that shadowy edge on there. Okay. Isn't that pretty? All right. I'm going to rinse my fingers for a minute because it kind of feels like they're getting a little bit yucky. And after all of this, you don't want to ruin it by having a smudge, right? Okay. So, last one is this one. No. All right, I'm going to leave it like that. That would be really pretty on the bottom of a scrapbook page or as your own background color for flowers. And now, I'm going to take the stamp set. Remember that lovely double stamp set we got? And I just put my dies onto magnetic sheets. So everything's together. And I'm going to pull out this flower, and a center. I think it's this one. Okay. So let's get a block. I like to put my blocks about the size, about the size of my stamps. One, you're not going to get ink all over your block as much. And two, it's just easier to handle, and the pressure that you would need for this block versus a big block is different. It just, I don't know, you're holding it better. All right, so now I'm going to pull out the yellow crushed curry, and I'm going to put some yellow flowers in. Now you could do second generation if you want to keep it all white, but I think I'm gonna do them darker. So now I'm just going around in those holes, and I am just going on the page, off the page, and doing some random stamping. Okay, like so. I'm gonna go back to the pink and just put in some little pink centers. My goodness, I keep touching my fingers. My fingers are getting all inky, guys. But hey, they're supposed to, right? All right, so we'll just go in with that. All right, clean off my stamp. And this one. And now we have one little flower left. I think I'm just going to, and I'm always testing it over here. I think I'm just going to make some yellow and pink. So this time I'm going to stretch them out a little bit further and just kind of placing them around a little bit where I want. And then I'm going to wash that off and go back in the pink and do some pink flowers as well. And this is where you got to know when to stop. There, we're done. One more. No, done. It's okay if you argue with yourself. Oh, and I forgot this part. That's what I was going to do. All right, so we do need that one stencil yet, and curry. And where is it? It's on the green one. So I'm going to bring in this one. And it's got green on it, so I better wash it off, because, you know, it's just the way my day's been going, right? like I said, I don't want to mess it up after you got all that work done. All right, so now we're clean again. Don't know if I can say the same for my fingers. And we go in. And what I'm doing is moving the stencil around. I made a darker center, and then I'm just using what's left to kind of go around. Now you could just go back and use one of the centers of the flower from the stamp if you want. But I just wanted to show you a little something different, and it kind of keeps the soft flowers soft and the other flowers, you know, a little different, right? And you could just actually do that. All right, one more, two more. So we're using all of the full strength where we want it. And then we're just going back and dabbing off what's left, like so. One more. And this is so nice. I hope we get some more of those. That would be nice. So if you do get that, if you have the calendar and you like that, or anything that you like from the calendar, make sure that you go to the website and let them know what was your favorite and what you'd like to have as far as products or tools that they gave us to play with. All right. So, oops, goodness gracious. So sorry. So now, get all this out of the way. You've got the stencil look of just using the stencil, and then using the stencil and the stamps. So wouldn't that be pretty? And then, I keep saying and then. What you can do is you could take any of these little postage stamp things and just stamp out what you want. And that would be pretty. You could do this too. You could go down to a smaller one, or the one that I did on the card that I showed you, and I just by moving it around, you can see, without trying to, cannot hold on to it, but you can see that when you go to cut something out, you know, kind of think about it. What do you like best? And if you like this, you can always add in a little more green if you want. You know, you could do it like that. That'd be really pretty. Okay? So just play with it. See, that would be really cute. That would be cute going that way. Or actually, if I made it a little bigger, go this way. Get a little bit of green in there. Like that. Okay, so just play with it. That's what it's here for. And again, I will show you that card that I made. Hold on, let me wipe these fingers off. Hey, Stacy, how you doing? Thanks for watching. I just stood up and saw your name. All right, so this is that card again that I made, and it's using the same exact way I just showed you. Okay, so that's card number 2. And let me move these stencils that have ink all over them, so that way I don't ruin anything else. Thank you for your patience. All right, the next one I want to show you. Where'd my paperwork go? There it is. So that card was actually a bag. That was number 7. The next one is this one, which is video number 10. And it's making a great big shaker card. And I made it pretty much like it is. Look at this. Isn't that fun? Opens up. It's a card. I got to put a little something inside. But look at all those pretty shakers. And they don't come out. They're stuck in there. But you do need to watch video 10 to do it. This is the window sheets that Stampin' Up! Has. And you make the window sheet an inch bigger. At the most an inch bigger. You could go a quarter, half an inch bigger. So this is 4¼ by 5½. So 4¼ plus, if you want your strips to be 1/4 inch, then you would go 1/2 inch bigger. So 4 3/4. And if you wanted an inch bigger than 4¼ you go 5¼ which was what I did. And so that gives you a nice little 1/2 inch to fold around all 4 sides. Okay. So once you get it, so this was 4¼ so I made it 5¼ this way, and this was 5½, so I made it 6½. And then I just went around on my trimmer and I scored 1/2 inch all the way around. You've got to do what she says, score it really hard, and then bone fold it really, really well. Okay. And then, you know, the corners are going to be square. So you miter the corner so it folds over. Use your tear and tape to stick this down. This piece is embossed, and then it's layered on top of a card base. Okay. So it is a little bit thick, but not bad. And this actually goes flat, so if you need to mail it, but you kind of need it to pop up a little bit because there's some of those big bits in there, the big hearts and the big bows. Hopefully you can see those. They're quite a bit thicker. Okay. And I didn't put, but I took a little spoon and I just put like a couple of spoonfuls. Don't overdo it. I didn't want to waste them all because I want to make some smaller little shaker elements. They could go onto a scrapbook page. It would be really pretty. They could go onto a card, which is what I'm going to do. And I might even do a scrapbook page. Okay. So really fun. Isn't that fun? And I also wanted to point out this, which I punched from gold. And aren't those pretty? They're just so elegant and so dainty. I love them. Oh. And of course I dropped it on the floor. All right. So there's that one. Again, that's video number 10. And I pretty much made it just how it was that I could see. Hers is a little fuller, but you know, they've got all the pretties they want to play with. They can fill it up. I do not, so I only put a couple spoonfuls. You do you. All right, and the last one that I did today is on video 6, and I changed it up a bit. Okay, I didn't want to waste all of my puffies, not all of them, but a lot of them on there. So I just changed it up a little bit. And here's my version. Hopefully, I hope you can see the glitter. I put glitter around here, around here, around here. And I put the glitter glue in here, but I'm not touching it because it's still a little wet. Okay. I stamped the cupcake, and I think I might have, this, can't see it anywhere. This edge is straighter. I think the cupcake was supposed to be on the other side. I don't know. Oh, well. This is a little banner strip from these little guys. And I just cut it in half and pin it the other end. Oh, here's the other one. There was 2 of them. I couldn't find it earlier. So I just cut this in half and pinned it that and staggered it. I also used a little bit of the twine to make a bow. And then my squares are, I want to say 1 by 1. Oh, and this piece here was one of these. Here it is. Look at all this. I still have tons. It was just this, and I cut it in half. So that way it would span clear out to the edges. I did use the colors that they used, which was Flirty Flamingo and, what was that, pink? Duh, look on your sheet. It was Flirty Flamingo and Petal Pink. So this is Petal Pink, and this is Flirty Flamingo. And there's that card for you. So, as I always do, and I think I know which one, but which one of the cards I did today. And like I said, I've got one more video to make this week on all this goodies. So, do you like number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4? As always, thank you so much for watching, and any help you can give my YouTube channel with a like, share, or subscribe, I would really appreciate. And more importantly, have a nice crafty day, and I hope you can get some crafting done. I would love to see what you did with your advent calendar box. Bye for now. See you on Friday, maybe a little early.